there dreamers, what's up? I'm your Indrala. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to episode 2 of Victress. In today's episode, we are going to talk to one of the most popular faces as an MC, as a sports anchor, as a news and entertainment anchor, as a voiceover artist, as a podcast host, and mother of Lucy and Kafka, presenting to you Miss Devi Shaha.
Hi Indrila, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to your show, because usually I am the person who's jotting down all the points about a person before getting up on the stage and introducing them. So either mugging up, memorizing all about them, and then or reading them out. So it's a surreal experience for an anchor or an MC when somebody else introduces them in a show and says all good things about them. So thank you for that. How did anchoring happen? It happened long back when I was in school. I was a kid and I was a very talkative kid. In fact, my teachers would mention that in my report cards that Devi is very talkative, almost to the extent of disturbing other kids in the class. Not almost, for sure, I did disturb other kids in the class. Now I am being kind to myself. But found out this unusual way of channelizing my pent-up energy. They said that you should get up on the stage and talk. In terms of letting me participate, making me participate in debates and extemporaries, and make me recite a poem on the stage. And once all those things were declared success, there was my teacher, Shuparna ma'am. She would host all the school programs, the annual show, the annual function and everything. So she said that, why don't you give it a try? So there I was. I hosted the annual program of my school and it was a success. I didn't get nervous and anything, and the parents were asked to go and talk to the teachers regarding our prospective career choices. So then something very unusual happened. My teacher suggested my father and my mother that for Devi, I think you should try anchoring or public speaking. She can take public speaking as a profession. So then, once teachers say something, parents do take that seriously. So যেভাবে যাদবপুর বিদ্যাপীঠে যদিও একটা খুব মেমোরেবল জিনিস আমার সঙ্গে হয়েছিল, এবং সেটাও আমার ভবিষ্যতে ক্যারিয়ারের ক্ষেত্রে খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট। ওয়াজ দিস কম্পিটিশন হ্যাপনিং, ছাত্র যুব উৎসব, যেখানে যাদবপুর বিদ্যাপীঠের ছেলেমেয়েরা পার্টিসিপেট করছিল। তো আছে জাস্ট একটা হিড়িকে সবাই মিলে যেহেতু বলেছে, সেহেতু আমি পার্টিসিপেট করি, এবং ফর্চুনেটলি জাস্ট লাকি এনাফ যে আমি ক্লাস্টারে এবং তারপর বড়োতে এবং তারপর ডিস্ট্রিক্টে ফার্স্ট হই। কলকাতায় রিপ্রেজেন্ট করতে কলকাতাকে আমাদেরকে বীরভূমে পাঠানো হবে আমাদের। এই এক্সপিরিয়েন্সটা আমার জীবনে খুব ম্যাটার করেছে, বিকজ আমি না হলে কখনো এই কম্পিটিশন বা এই ধরনের কোনো কিছুতে পার্টিসিপেট করবার জন্যে যে পরিমাণ কারেজটা লাগে সেটা আমার ছিল না, এবং ভবিষ্যতে অডিশনের ক্ষেত্রে আমি দেখেছি যে আমার সেটা খুব কাজে লেগেছে। My first year only, I started working for a TV channel, a news channel, for a travel show as an anchor. I auditioned for it and I got it, and then I started for working that channel and then few other TV channels as well. In my third year, at that time only, one of the sweetest people I have met so far at work, Chandonadi, and she told me that so you work as an anchor and I find you to be a decent anchor also. Would you want to try a new thing? So yeah, what new thing? She said that there's this Baisakhi makeover, Boishakhi makeover. That basically we would visit all the colleges and other institutions, universities and colleges mostly, and other management institutions and other stuff like that. So we would visit, and then my job was to call people, approach people, students, female students of that institution. So I would call them and ask them that, hey, there is this makeover happening, would you want to come and get a makeover done? Just my kind of show, it was just my kind of audience. Why? Because it was my age group. So I was approaching people who belong to the same generation. So for me to talk to them and strike up a conversation just like that was so easy. So I got an idea that okay, I have to build a connection with people now. My first show, I wasn't brand conscious at all. I was not promoting the brand the way I should have promoted it. I did something else. But then again, after that also Maybelline got in touch with me for college shows. They said that you should come and do like college fests. They would make a kiosk or something like that, again makeover. So they would call me and say that, hey Debbie, you can come and do this because I think this is totally your thing. But if I have to mention one person here, I would definitely mention Mir Afsar Ali. Because I'll tell you a story here. So I was a kid when I wanted to be Mir Afsar Ali. Why? Because I was always a failure in outdoor sports, but there was one event that would happen every year in my school also and in my area annual sports where I would participate also and win the title every year. So it was Go As You Like. But the year Khash Khabar started airing, it completely changed and I was awestruck by Mir Afsar Ali. Also Shudipta, but Mir Afsar Ali. So that year I wanted to be Mir Afsar Ali. I went to my dresser and told him that give me a blazer and a properly ironed shirt and a tie. Then he didn't have any. At least not for me because I was this thin. He said that no, but I don't have any for you. So would you want to try a Charlie Chaplin coat? I said, no, not a Charlie Chaplin coat. Come on, have you seen Mir Afsar Ali on TV? He looks so smart. I need something proper, like a blazer and a shirt and a tie. He said that no, please, I don't have any. Would you want to be a tiger instead? I said, no, no tiger this year, please. So my mother took me to another house and I said that, Bua Dada, do you have anything for me, like a blazer? So he had a blazer, but then again, I tried it on, big for me, didn't fit me at all. So then my mother came up with a solution. She said that why doesn't he become Mir and why don't you play Shudipta? So you can work as a team, like you know, he'll be the male newsreader, you will be the female newsreader. I said no, but that's not how I wanted to be. I want to be Mir Afsar Ali. When I say this, that my dream remained a dream, I do mean it because I think till date the struggle is on. I still want to be Mir Afsar Ali, but I don't think I can ever be. I call him my Dronacharya and I call myself an Ecologbo because I'm sure there are many who follow Mir Afsar Ali. I take my first step towards something new. Mir Afsar Ali is the person I go to because I somehow think that if Mirda starts, kickstarts this, it will be a success. Same thing for my podcast also. Before that, I have directed 2 short films and first one had Mir Afsar Ali and later also, this time also, when the lockdown started, I thought that I might get bored and I like this only. So I'd better start a podcast or something sitting at home. So I started and I called Mirda and I said that would you want to be my guest in my first podcast, which was kind of an interview on the lockdown itself. It was fun because it had Mir Afsar Ali in it, and I'll tell you one secret over here also. I called him and I said that I will record all the questions and I'll send you the questions, and same way you also have a recording setup in your house, so you record the answers and send me. So I did record everything and I did send him, and he did record the answers and he did send me. But when I heard all the answers, I had to re-record the questions again because I thought that, oh my god, it's so nice that for me, my questions, they were pale in front of me and I was like not up to the mark at all. So I had to re-record my part and then edit the whole thing together. So yeah, that's how it started. The long distance relationship began when I was working for a sports channel, and I was living in Bombay at that time. Sumesh was also doing the same thing. He also left his home for work and he was living in Bombay, because Sumesh basically lives in Karnataka, in Bangalore, and he was working as a commentator in the same sports channel. So there we met, friendship happened and love happened, and we started dating, and then after a few months of courtship, marriage happened. And now it is a long distance marriage, because I am currently residing in Kolkata, and for him it is on and off. So so nice of him that he hardly goes back to Bangalore now, because either he's working in Bombay and whatever little holidays he gets, he just comes to Kolkata to spend time with me. That's how it is right now. There are plus points and minus points. Negatives, I think everybody knows already. One big plus point, and I'd like to tell you about that, because I remember when I was a kid, we had this BSNL land phone at home, and I would spend long hours talking to my boyfriend over the phone, and I would often get caught. That was the time when we would actually miss our partners, because we were hiding a lot of things. There was this fear of getting caught. Now, when we've grown up and there's nothing to hide from anybody at all, this opportunity to miss their partners. If you are in a long distance relationship, you actually long for the time you get to see your partner again, you get to meet your partner again, spend some nice time with your partner. The right person to talk about it, not the right person to advise people, because I myself am a learner. I am still learning a thing or two every day, and then trying to put them to use. And I think that is what I want to tell people who aim to be a public speaker. And learning has to be a constant process. Keep your windows open and learn. Just learn. Just like before being a writer, before you start writing, you have to read a lot. Before you become a speaker, you have to listen a lot. So yeah, just as I thought. It was great. You've always been a great speaker, and now you've learned the art of forming questions brilliantly, because the questions were really interesting. So I enjoyed answering all of them, and yeah, it was great.